Until you have the capability of transcending the illusion of time, you will stay within your current reality. You see, when it comes to manifestation of your desired reality, the ability for you to transcend the third dimensional realm constraint of time is everything, because the area or the place to which that you are materializing from transcends this third dimensional realm. Now, the mistake that a lot of people make unintentionally, which is probably what you're doing, is operating with the confinements of time-space constraint. Until you have the capability of transcending time and quite literally time traveling to your desired reality will not travel to you. And that's a bar, write that down. So in this video, we're going to get into the concept of good things don't take time. In fact, it is you that makes time. And as you can see, come on. Come on.
I said it looks like lightning, innit?
For the niggas that have been watching me, you know my drawings usually are. But this time machine looks like R2D2. You know who that is?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Some cartoon shit.
C3PO?
Don't panic.
I wanna tease you. I wanna please you. I wanna show you, baby, that I need you. I want your body.
I was surprised to know you know about Keith Sweat.
You were surprised I know about Keith Sweat.
I was surprised.
I'm surprised you know about Keith Sweat.
It was a shock to me.
Who can love you like me?
Nobody.
Who can sing you like me?
Nobody.
Man said he's shocked. Have some manners.
And I found out on FaceTime you were just playing him. I was like, what the fuck?
Okay, don't say that. Don't say that I FaceTime you and I'm playing Keith Sweat. Because... Bro.
I didn't even think about it like that.
Nah. No why for that. No pause on that.
Bro, shush. Someone did say the drawings have been leveling up.
Thank you. You know, when this is all said and done, I might just open an art channel. You know what I'm saying?
Please do not. Oh my god.
Okay.
Someone said they say pause in your accent now. So I'm guessing they're like American or something.
Yeah. What, pause in an English accent?
Mm-hmm. How would the Americans say it? Pause.
Pause. Okay. All right, let's get into this. I feel like my purple is kind of going out last time. I'll go with blue and red. Cool. So, first things first. More often than not, whether a spiritual individual or religious individuals, everybody seems to do this one tendency, and this is something that you've been taught. You see, due to the fact that we exist in the third dimensional realm, naturally existing in the third dimensional realm, we begin to operate within the constraints of the third dimensional realm. What do I mean by this? Well, think about the concept of time. Oftentimes you'll hear spiritual people say time is an illusion without the capability of actually explaining what that means, because they're simply regurgitating things that they have not studied or understand. When we're talking about time being an illusion, time within this third dimensional realm, bear in mind, when I say third dimensional realm, we can call it the physical plane. We can also call it reality. Point blank, it is the realm of illusion. Hence why in ancient Hindu traditions, they call it the world of Maya. Science will tell you that we can only see 0.0035% of reality due to visible light through a process called refraction, which is light bouncing off surfaces into our eyes. Visible light is only a tiny portion of the entirety of the electromagnetic spectrum, which involves infrared and ultraviolet. Now, when we're getting into the concept of time being an illusion, when I say illusion, I want you to hear trap. When I say illusion, I want you to hear trap. When I say illusion, I want you to hear trap, because an illusion is a trap. It's something that isn't as it appears to be. That is the literal definition of time. So time within this third dimensional realm is a law. It's a law no different from any other universal law, such as gravity or polarity, what we call separation. And the thing about time being an illusion, it's an illusion because yes, it exists in this third dimensional realm, but beyond this third dimensional realm, it doesn't exist. Now pay very close attention, because when it comes to the act of materializing your desired reality, beyond is where you need to pull from in order to materialize what it is that you want. And see, here's a big reason why a lot of people struggle to materialize their desired reality despite understanding everything that I'm saying here, is because you're still thinking within the confinements of time. In order for you to materialize your desired reality, you must transcend time. But so long as you're operating within the confinements of time, you're operating within a box, which is why it feels like every time you take a step forward, you end up taking a step back, or you take a step forward and it continues to run away. It's because you're unaware of the fact that you're still operating within the box. And in order to materialize your desired reality, if we put DR here, not DR Dominican Republic for you horny niggas, desired reality, you're in this box, and every time you try to go out to it, you're confined. You need to have the capability of breaking through this box in order to get there. This box is representative of time, space, constraint. In physics, they'll tell you that our third dimensional realm operates and adheres to time, space, constraint. But in order for you to do that, you need to transcend it. Now, a big mistake that a lot of people make, and I was saying this before I kind of derailed, is whether religious or spiritual, we have this tendency as human beings to delay what it is that we want to materialize. What do I mean? Religious people will say, oh, I'll get that in God's time. Spiritual people will say divine timing, which makes them feel egotistical, like they're better, but it's all really the same thing because they still have the psychological programming of religion. They've just now moved from one box to another. You know what I'm talking about, the spiritual archetype of niggas that say, you're not spiritual if you eat meat, or you're not spiritual if you drink. So I guess niggas like me, I ain't spiritual because I do all of that. Now, of course, that is me just poking at the archetype of what people deem to be spirituality, because it's not a box. In the same way that people attempt to put you in a box, never allow yourself to be boxed, because that one-dimensional line of thinking is where often people fall into nothing more than ego traps, because that's what it is. Now, the reason why divine timing is fake is because what you don't realize about divine timing is this. Divine timing, or God's timing, is nothing more than a spiritualized delay/rejection mechanism of the old frequency. What do you mean by that, Nero? Well, you have to come to the understanding that when we're talking about the old frequency or the current reality that you're attempting to move from, on the spiritual plane, it exists as its own individualized entity. It is quite literally an energy, hence why when you feel like you try to take a step forward, things get worse. And it's due to the fact that there's quite literally a frequency that exists within you that is trying to remain. Because all energies want to be materialized. That's it. They all want to be materialized, and they all want to keep that real estate that they have in your head. But the moment that you begin to shift frequencies, or you begin to attempt to do better or focus on a new reality, it seems like, what's that Tyrese song? Every time I'm trying to leave, something keeps pulling me back. Quite literally, it's literally that. And it exists on the spiritual plane in order to do that. Now, the reason why I say that divine timing or God's timing is a spiritualized delay mechanism of the old frequency is because, understand this, the universe / God withholds nothing from you. The only individual that decides the timing of the materialization of your desired reality is you. And that's a bar, write that down. You see, once we get into concepts such as divine timing and God's timing, which seem like quite spiritual concepts, but when you really begin to understand how it works in relation to manifestation, it is nothing more than a spiritualized delay/rejection mechanism from the old frequency, rejecting and delaying the new reality. Why? Because you have to understand something in particular. The universe / God, whatever it is that you want to deem, which are two completely different things. The universe is a collection of laws. It's a system created by God. God is the aspect of the or in Hermetics is the or. Some Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh, the same entity. Well, it depends if you want to get into Gnosticism, but this ain't for that. Point being, God withholds nothing from you. The only individual that withholds anything from you is you. The only individual that decides the timing of the materialization of your desired reality is you. Even the concept of saying God's timing and divine timing, this is an illusion. And when we're talking about the divine or God, This is above illusion. So this statement in of itself is a complete paradox. Hence why whenever I hear people say God's timing, I'm thinking, you think God adheres to time? You think the universe adheres to time? Time is an illusion of the third dimensional realm, but God or the universe are systems or individual, not systems or individuals, but entities that transcend our third dimensional realm. By the way, make sure to take notes and leave them in the comments as usual. But this is a complete paradox. It's nothing more than an oxymoron. It's literally complete opposite. There's no such thing as divine timing. Divine timing, once again, you see, the old frequency understands that the more you begin to move in the direction, the more that you begin to embody the frequency of your desired reality in this moment in time, due to something called the universal compound interest. The universe begins to compound frequencies very, very quickly. And the longer that you spend in a frequency, the more it solidifies. Think about this as above, so below. In the brain, it's neuroplasticity. The more that you begin to do the same habits, the same way of thinking, the same way of reacting, your brain begins to form and strengthen neural pathways. As above, so below, that extends to frequencies too. Right? They're literally the same thing. And the more that you begin to actually say to yourself, oh, in God's timing. And I grew up in church seeing people do this all the time, and it absolutely broke my heart, because I see the same people praying for things year after year after year, talking about, oh, God will give it to me when God's ready. Fuck. How the hell does that make sense? Or spiritual people, oh, in divine timing. It's all the same thing. It's nothing more than your old frequency getting you to delay what it is, because it knows the only way for you to materialize what you want is to embody that frequency now and begin to transcend time. That's why it does that. And it sounds very spiritual, and it sounds very almost self-righteous to say, oh, you know, not now, in God's time and this. But it's all nonsense. It's all complete nonsense, and I'll explain why.
Every time I tell these, something keeps bringing me back. Seems like you got some gamblers on this channel.
What?
Someone commented.
Listen, all are welcome. All are welcome.
Meat eaters, gamblers.
Whoa, easy.
You just said you're a meat eater.
Easy.
Did you not just say you're a meat eater? No.
If you only knew how much Zimbabweans actually eat meat, we barbecue in the rain.
Yeah. You had some fat sausages at the party you had.
Okay. Let's.
Anyway, someone said, went casino with £20. Not they're in the UK, £20. Okay. Not caring if I lose it or not. £190. Did the same thing.
Wait, they went to the casino with £20, £190.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did the same thing the next day, but instead I put 40. Okay, so it's still, I'm gonna leave with some money.
Did the same thing the next day.
Then 2 days later, I went in and put 40 again. Yep. Left with 500. You're up. I didn't care about
500.
Yeah, $5. I didn't care about winning or losing, but I noticed it was having an emotional effect on me, so I left at 500. I tried to repeat this week with the same vibe.
And this is where it goes left.
And got slapped. I actually went with more confidence knowing I'm gonna win because I'm in the state. Slapped. Think I lost about 300 of my profit or something. Low-key greed kicked in, you feel me? But anyways, what can I do to attract that little fucking roulette board to land on my numbers? What energetic manipulation can I do? Stare at the numbers I want with all my mental and emotional fortitude, propel the ball into that spot. Yo, that guy's at home right now, closing his eyes, visualizing in the roulette.
Listen. I mean, to actually give you an actual answer before I say what I actually want to say, you have to understand when it comes to materialization of your desired reality, once you begin to either think consciously or feel consciously or visualize or affirm or whatever it is technique that you want to use, you have to begin to take yourself to the end of whatever it is that you want to materialize, looking at it from the past tense. So when you're thinking about the ball spinning, that's the actual present, that's the middle of it. What you want is to win the money. So all you need to begin to visualize is a particular scene or construct a scene with your imagination that reflects that you have already won that money, instead of thinking about the process in between, because you don't know how it's going to materialize, which is something I'm going to speak about in this video. Now, me actually telling you this as somebody who cares, nigga, stop this, because this is dangerous. Because once you for example, somebody starts manifesting winning in a casino, they're gonna think, yeah, man's a wizard. You get me? Like, man's God. You know what I mean? And then it gets dangerous, because then if you actually start to visualize this shit and it works, then you're going to do this to an extreme where you're putting your house on the line. And I don't want you commenting here talking about, oh, Nero, I was visualizing, like I put everything I had in, you know.
Niggas be like, I seen it in
You know
my
what I'm saying? Because
visualization. I put my house down.
He said he went there with £20, 190. He said he went 3 days, again, back to back to back.
Yeah.
No. Stop this. Stop this at once. Please stop this at once.
That's a lot of energy still.
Yeah.
Getting out your house to go casino, like basically 4 or 5 times that week. God damn.
What else we got before I go on to this next point?
I don't have the comment, but I do remember someone commenting they won the Australian 100 million Powerball or something like that, and they visualized or manifested it to the point they didn't care.
What the fuck are we doing right here?
Really and truly, they really should just donate to the channel.
What are we doing right here?
100
What are we
mil.
doing right here? If that's real, and niggas are winning 100 mil, what the fuck are we doing right here?
You know, like this.
What are you doing?
Might be time to delete the videos.
Yo, let's after this, let's go to the shop, get a couple lottery tickets.
I thought that when I saw the comment, I'm like, fuck.
Reminds me of that Squid Games.
Yeah, a few gamblers on here, man. Someone clearly won. Apparently.
Oh, something which is quite interesting that I realized about time is that if you actually think about the concept of time, right? Even though time in this third dimensional realm is experienced as linear, what's the symbol of time that we use? A clock. What shape is that?
Circle.
Of course, because the nature of time is truly cyclical. But in this third dimensional realm, they portray time to be as a linear thing like this. But when you understand that the symbol is esoterically hidden, the meaning of time is esoterically hidden within the symbol of a clock. It's circle because time is cyclical, because everything's happening at once. If you look at the nature of a circle, everything's happening at once. Hence why a lot of people talk about the concept of past lives, but really and truly, if any of you to die right now, how can time, which is an illusion that only exists within this third dimensional realm, take you to a past life? There is no past life outside this third dimensional realm. It's actually parallel lives. Hence why in quantum physics, they're looking at the concept of a multiverse or parallel universes. Hence why in the concept, in the film entertainment industry, we have the multiverse in Marvel. Why? Because you can jump from timeline to timeline, which is what I'm showing you how to do in this video with your consciousness. But the nature of time is cyclical and not linear, and that's hidden in front of our faces the whole time. That's funny, isn't it?
That's why I think you'd like Interstellar.
Okay.
It's actually about everything
I'm not watching
happening.
that long film. I'm
Bro,
not watching that long film.
it's
You haven't
literally-
even watched Avatar.
it's
You
literally
haven't even
about-
watched Avatar.
Why are you exposing me, bro?
You haven't watched Avatar.
Why are you exposing me, bro? Fake news, guys.
He hasn't watched Avatar the cartoon and not even the film. With the
Oh, there's a
the blue
cartoon.
people.
Oh. Anyway, Interstellar
about
is literally
Pandora.
about time. Everything happens all at once.
I'm not watching that shit film, bro. Last time I watched it, I fell asleep.
I fell asleep watching Solo Leveling twice, and I still went back, and it was one of the best things I've ever watched.
How dare you? Perfect. So, okay. One thing that you have to understand is that, once again, like I said, we're conditioned to think within the confinements and operate within the paradigm of time, right? We're taught to think about time, and the mistake that we often make as human beings, let's take the concept of heaven. I won't even get into heaven esoterically, but the concept of heaven being this amazing place that, you know, people are going to be happy to be and so on and so forth. Even that concept, if we break it down fundamentally, religiously, we're conditioned in the world to associate the good that we want to be elsewhere. And that's the same thing with heaven. Even though in Luke 17:21 it says the kingdom of heaven is within you, even though the Gospel of Thomas says the kingdom of heaven is inside and outside of you, and if it's in the sky, then the birds are closer than you are, and if it's in the sea, then the fish already know it. Even though, despite all of that, people still have this idea that heaven is in another geographical location that isn't where they're at. Associate that to be your desired reality, because that's how you've been taught to think. You've been taught to think that your desired reality is elsewhere. Hence why even the way that you think reflects that particular line of thinking. And I'm going to get into the line of thinking that you keep making, because I can't really emphasize this enough. If you continue to think within the third dimensional realm constraint of time, your desired reality will be constrained. And that's a bar. Please write that down. when we're talking about the concept of the materialization of your desired reality, whether you want to conceptualize that coming from the or, whether you want to conceptualize that as coming from God, which God is within, as it says in Corinthians, you are the dwelling place of God, the Spirit of God dwells within you. Spirit within that particular context is associated with consciousness. Hence why if you read the Kabbalion, it talks about spirit, 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 but spirit is nothing more than consciousness. Hence why the all is in awe. Whether you want to conceptualize it as God, the or, the universe, the Akashic records, quantum field, fourth dimension, parallel universes, it's all more or less the same concept, because each one of these things is above time and above reality. And because this is where your desired reality comes from, until you are above time, you will never be above the current circumstance that you're in right now. What if I told you that you're only in this continuous loop of your current reality and your desired reality, whether it, what the hell was that? I feel like I just had hair on me. Whether you want to materialize a healthy relationship, whether you want to materialize a certain amount in your business, whether you want to materialize a business, whether you want to materialize a certain position, whether you're an actor or an athlete, whether you want to get a job, a promotion in your job, it's all the same thing. Until you can go above time right now in this desired reality, you won't be above your current circumstance. And as I said, we're kind of associated to have this idea that heaven is elsewhere, and that's a bar, write that down. You have to come to the understanding that heaven is everywhere and your desired reality is everywhere, because your desired reality is nothing more than frequency. And when I say frequency is interchangeable with consciousness, self-concept, whatever. And due to the fact that consciousness is the substance of reality, consciousness is reality. Think about reality like frozen imagination. Consciousness, frequency, imagination, it's all the same thing. The world that you live in is nothing more than frozen imagination. So far, write that down. But in order for you to freeze the imagination that you're trying to create into your reality, you need to believe that that reality, that imagination, that frequency, that state of consciousness is something that already exists right now in this moment. And what do I mean? A lot of people make the mistake of thinking to themselves, I will get to where I want to be. You know what? I will be in a happy relationship. I will get that job. I will get that role. I will get that person. I will make the amount of money that I want to make, without coming to the realization that you're still operating within the confinements of time. What do you mean by that, Nero? I'll show you exactly what I mean right now. Relax, relax, relax. You're gonna get some keep in your pants. Don't worry. Because how often, and I remember being in the ends thinking, you know, one day I'm gonna make it. One day I will. And this is how we think. Everybody has this particular line of thinking of one day I will. Anytime that you are saying will, without realizing, you are adhering to time. And when you adhere to time, you adhere to an illusion. And when you adhere to illusion, you adhere to a trap. So your progress is limited and trapped within where you are right now. Big fat tool everywhere I go. I'm a cool guy, but they say I'm psycho. I'm in a Volkswagen banging out Jenny Aiko. Alright, cool. I feel like you're just gonna read out a comment.
Yeah. This one's actually quite funny.
Alright, cool, go for it.
People talking about going through withdrawals because Nero didn't post.
Guys, I literally just missed 1 week.
1 week.
1 week.
They go, nigga, I almost called the police thinking he was lost. I'm not on his IG, so I didn't know he traveled. That must be a scary time.
Call the police is crazy. Cool, got Brown. Cool. So, as I said, whether you realize this or not, and please, you have to become aware of something. Until you can make the unconscious conscious, your life will seem out of control without realizing it's always in your control. And that's a bar, write that down. More than likely, when it comes to materialization of your desired reality, you might be slightly frustrated or irritated as to why things aren't changing. And if that's how you feel, then that's an indication that you might still be thinking within the paradigms of time. So please pay very close attention to what I'm about to say. So more often than not, the idea is that we operate within the frame of I will, I am going to, one day, soon, eventually. They're all more or less the same idea, simply expressed differently. The idea that I will, I'm going to, one day, soon, eventually. This is how we begin to think. You might think to yourself, I will make it. I will be rich one day. You know, I will be in a happy relationship. You know, I'm going to get myself into a happy relationship. I'm going to get that career promotion that I've been wanting to get. I'm going to get my business to that level I want it to be at. One day, soon, eventually, without realizing that all of these are still confined by time. What do you mean, Nero? Well, when you're saying I will, what you're doing without realizing is future projection. Now, due to the fact that outside this third dimensional realm, there is no past, there is no future, without realizing, every time you think thoughts that resonate, reflect, or imply anything of the above, you are projecting the frequency of your desired reality into a place that doesn't exist. And that's a bar. Please write that down. And this is going to have to be something you catch yourself out with again and again and again. Because anytime that you are doing what I call third dimensional realm thinking, you will be third dimensionally realm limited. I'm pretty sure I made up that word, but that's fine. And you have to come to the understanding, whether it is a career promotion, a point in your relationship, everything that you deem that you want, it's something that you're going to have to internalize now. I'm hired by professional athletes like a football player from Arsenal, Brentford. I'm hired by Hollywood actors, 7-8 figure entrepreneurs. And I remember I was talking to one of my clients in particular, and we're talking about the concept of him enhancing his performance when it comes to playing football on the pitch. And I said to him, when it comes to scoring a goal, why don't you score the goal before you've already stepped on the pitch? And he was like, what do you mean? And I said, well, you have to come to the understanding that until you can step on that football pitch in the state as if you've already scored, celebrating in your head, the materialization of you scoring will always seem something that is out of reach or something that you have to move towards while it's running away. And it's the same thing with whatever it is that you want to materialize. Now, if you are a professional athlete, an actor, a 7-8 figure entrepreneur who feels like their potential is being capped or limited, whether revenue or whether performance, and you want to unleash that potential in the next couple of weeks just by me tweaking your frequency, please check the link in the description. And please, like I said, this is going to have to be something you catch yourself out with thinking, because you know what it is that you want. And the mistake that you keep making is this: whenever you do what I call future projection, which is I will, and adhering to the concept of the past or the future, which doesn't exist outside this third dimensional realm, which means you're not pulling from anywhere that exists because you're still confined within the box, something that is very dangerous begins to happen. And that is this: whenever it is that you're saying I will, I'm going to, not only do you project a frequency into the future that doesn't exist, because it doesn't exist outside this third dimensional realm, you unfortunately indicate that you are the opposite of whatever it is that you want to attain. And what I mean by that is this: think about it like this. AJ, if you say I will be rich, what are you saying about this current moment in time?
I'm not rich right now.
If you say I am going to be in a healthy relationship one day, what are you saying about this current moment in time?
I'm either single or in a toxic one.
And when you say one day I'm going to get that career promotion, what are you saying about this moment in time?
My career sucks and I ain't got that right now.
Precisely. And unfortunately, because the now is the only thing that exists, whatever you embody now will be what you experience now. But see, you think future. No. The now is the only thing that exists right now. And so long as in the now you are indicating and identifying with the opposite state of consciousness or whatever it is that you want, now you will be in this perpetual loop where you feel like you're still stuck in the same cycles again and again and again. Because what you're indicating to the universe right now, the frequency that you're embodying, the self-concept that you're embodying, the state of consciousness that you're embodying is indirect, unfortunately, right? Because this is something we do unconsciously. And hence why I'm saying you need to begin to catch yourself out, because I can assure you this is something we all do again and again and again and again. And because we all do it unconsciously, we are unconscious of why we are still stuck in the same loops. It's because we are indicating to the universe that we're in the opposite state of consciousness or whatever it is that we want to attain. Because if you are not it now, then you will never be it ever. And that's a bar. Please write that down. And it all comes down to understanding and picking apart what frequency is before you have the capability of actually time traveling to where you want to go. There's some prerequisites to time traveling, because like I said, the whole concept of divine timing or God's timing is fake. You can materialize whatever it is that you want to, you can manifest whatever it is that you want to manifest now by a simple reconstruction of your definition of manifestation that will liberate you from feeling like you're not good enough or this shit's not fucking working. Because that's a feeling we've all felt. Don't get it twisted. Even though over the years I've read hundreds of books and I've even wrote my own book, Amazon bestseller in all 3 categories in less than 24 hours. Amazon said I am the top 0.1% of independent self-published authors by the amount of copies that we sold in less than a month. So believe me, this is serious stuff.
I think rappers need to start using you in their bars,
I think so too, to be fair.
like like they did with Dino.
That's hilarious.
Pockets fat like Dino.
I feel like it's coming. I've worked with a couple rappers. Shout out Vils. Shout out my guy.
Vil sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was.
Was he in that freestyle
the
with
J Hus,
J Hus and Mostak?
Yeah.
Tim Westwood. Yeah, his verse was cold still.
Yeah, Vils,
I like
Vils
it.
is
Vils
like
was
that.
cold
He's like
still.
that. He's like that. And I know you'll see this, so shout out my guy, man.
You get some weird DMs, bro.
I feel like you're about to say something extremely weird now. Have I used? I ain't used purple today, I don't think. Purple and green.
So you just did use purple.
What? I have no idea. It doesn't matter anyway. So let me see what I got here.
They said, until my throat knows every vein. That's it. That's it.
I feel like I did just use purple as well.
Yeah, because you wrote it.
Yeah.
You wrote down the sayings on it.
Yeah.
Nero, just wanted to share a win. I'm 18, and after watching your videos every day since January, I launched my own online business. It now brings in over $2,000 per month, and the best part is, it feels fun and aligned and easy. I just picked up your book too, and every page is gold. Thanks for being the real deal and showing what's possible. Eba.
That's real. That's a real.
That's a well-written message, you know what I'm trying to say?
Hold on to you, young man, and I can say that.
He's got a girl in his profile picture. Bro's got a girl in his profile picture and called him a young man.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That's a woman.
Yeah.
That's even better. Congratulations.
Unless it's his girlfriend. Good enough.
Doesn't matter anyways. Point being, congratulations, being 18 and being able to materialize something like that. That's amazing.
For real. When I was 18, I was down bad.
When I was 18, I was looking for food vouchers on the floor. You know those McDonald's bus tickets? Listen, in the UK, when you catch the bus, they used to give out like ticket vouchers for McDonald's, and you could get like a Big Mac meal for like £2, which if you're American, it's like $2 with no drink. I used to eat that, no drink, plate that.
You know how much people survived off those, bro?
Yeah, bro. I used to walk in town looking for them on the floor. You think I was looking for?
It's funny because I never used to use them in it because I never used to like Big Macs. Every single time I come off the bus, there'll be someone that's like, I don't know, homeless or struggling. They'll be like, yo, are you going to use your bus ticket? Can I have the voucher?
That's real, man.
And I'm just like, here, bro, take it.
You know, life's deep when you're living the same life as homeless niggas. That's real, man. That's real. Bro doesn't even know there's not much that separates us for right now. Can only have it. Cool. So 2 key concepts before I go further that I want you to understand. There are no truths in reality or the reality that you experience other than what the subconscious mind accepts as true. For example, if you believe that it's difficult to do something, then it'll be difficult. If you believe that it's complicated to alter your beliefs based on that subconscious belief, you will emit a frequency that makes it much more difficult for you to alter your beliefs. If you believe that things will be easy for you and everybody loves you where you go on a subconscious level, then you will emit a frequency because your frequency speaks before you've even spoken and project that that into people, and it will be materialized as people loving you. There are no truths in reality other than what the subconscious mind accepts as true. So now let's go to that concept of I will, or what I call third dimensional realm thinking. When you say I will, what you're indicating about reality is that I am not. And when you're indicating that on a subconscious level, understanding the I am principle even deeper, you mold your state of consciousness or your subconscious mind to put you in a state that suggests that you are not. And because you are not in the subconscious mind, you will not be that in reality. And that's a bar. Write that down. This whole game is about seeing what it is that you want, seeing yourself as that already right now. And the example that I use all the time is that, for example, AJ sat on that chair over there. He's not looking at the chair. Because if you're looking at your goal one day and thinking to yourself, I will be there one day, then that third dimensional realm thinking indicates that you were separated from it because you're looking at it. And if you're looking at it, that shows that you're separated from it. If you're thinking I will or any line of third dimensional realm thinking, you are separating yourself from your desired reality on a subconscious level. So then it will be like the universe is separating you from it, because the subconscious is the universe. The subconscious is God. The subconscious is consciousness. And if you're separated from it on a subconscious level, you're separated from it on a physical level, because before anything can exist physically, it first has to exist vibrationally, which is a combination of mentally and spiritually. And to go even further, you can only have what you already have. This is something that I call the annoying law of the universe. I have a whole chapter of that in my book, literally called the annoying law of the universe, which is you can only have what you already have. So your desired reality can't be something in your mind that you're seeing yourself as lacking, because if you lack it within, then you lack it without. And if you have it within, you have it without. Because before anything can Before anything can exist physically, first has to exist vibrationally, because vibration equates to frequency. Frequency is nothing more than immaterialized reality. Reality is nothing more than materialized frequency. So you need to have your desired reality and already see as something that's already done. So word to our gambling friend over there, he can't see himself as something as he's going to win this amount of money. You have to be in a state that you have already won the amount of money that you want in order to get there. And I'll explain why on the multi-dimensional sequence of events, which is a whole other chapter in my book. But to break down frequency, or what I call consciousness, there's 7 key components to it. So if you ever want to understand what your frequency is made out of, or your state of consciousness is made out of, or your self-concept is made out of, or your self-image, or your imagination in regards to reality creation, it's made out of what I call the 7 keys. 7 keys are your beliefs, your conviction, perception, reaction, your mood or attitude, or what I call your base emotional state, your focus, and then what I call ECT, which is nothing more than emotionally charged thoughts. This is what your consciousness or frequency is made out of. So you have to begin to understand. You have to know what you want, because if you don't know what you want, you can't emit a frequency that's specific enough. Think about your desired reality like a product code. Each product on Amazon has a unique specific product code that when you order it, it aligns with a correspondent number in the warehouse, and that's how they know to ship it out uniquely, because it has its own unique identifier. Think about it like a passport number, right? It's this unique signature that aligns with a particular product. Your frequency, your state of consciousness, or your self-image, or your self-concept has to be a specific, or has to have a specific unique identifier that we call that frequency, which is made out of your beliefs, your perception, conviction, reaction, mood or attitude, focus, and emotionally charged thoughts. You need to have the beliefs of whatever it is that you want, or beliefs that contribute or make it up. For example, if you want to be in a healthy relationship, it probably wouldn't be good to think that all women are whores and all men are dogs. That belief more than likely would be a contradiction to the materialization of a healthy relationship. So you have to have beliefs that contribute only to it, because if a belief doesn't serve you, if your perception doesn't serve you, if what you have conviction in doesn't serve you, if how you react doesn't serve you, if your mood or attitude on a daily basis doesn't serve you, if your focus doesn't serve you, if your emotionally charged thoughts don't serve you, then it is just there to control you. Point blank period. That's it. It doesn't get any more realer than that. So even when we're talking about your perception, you need to perceive reality in a way that contributes or reflects your desired reality. So when you see an experience, you need to be able to rewrite it in real time, because that's true alchemy. Redefine reality, because once you redefine reality, through redefining meaning, you redefine emotion. Emotion is the language of the subconscious mind. Even when we're talking about reacting, the way that you react to things gives off and indicates your state of consciousness. So if you get a parking ticket and you think, fuck, this couldn't have come at a worse time. Or if you're in a shop or a supermarket or a grocery store and you see a tin of beans and you're like, oh fuck, this tin of beans is £2, the world's going crazy. Your reaction indicates your state of consciousness, so you have to make sure they're all aligned. Your focus, the things that you tend to focus on, has to be reflective of your desired reality. If you can go through each one of these, and this is something that you have to do, but in order to do that, you have to know what it is that you want. Because without crystal clear clarity, there'll be no crystal clear frequency, which means there can be no crystal clear reality. And that's a bar, write that down. So you have to be able to go through each one of these things to understand what it is that you want. And now that you understand frequency, consciousness, self-concept, and what it's made out of, now we can begin to understand why time traveling actually works. Relax, you're gonna get some. I know. Minister of Enjoyment, Intercontinental, Monumental, you gonna live forever.
Hi, Nero.
Hello.
I just have to say, I've been watching you consistently for about 4 to 5 months now, maybe longer.
And it's taking you this long to write something. What's going on?
Crazy, innit?
What's
Crazy.
going on?
I had always been into Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, and others, but your delivery on content is truly like nothing I've seen before.
This is spiritual science and metaphysics.
Ever since watching you, I've been consistent in the gym, just secured a new job, from making 90k to now 145k.
190 to 145k.
6-figure earner, yeah?
In 6 months. 6 figures. Woo, woo.
Starting next Monday.
Congratulations.
Just being more aware, more conscious, and intentional with my time about how I show up in this world. Your energy is reaching so many, and it is truly a blessing. I'm super grateful.
Sweet.
Much love.
That's sweet.
Lisa.
I know that's a woman that wrote that because it just felt sweet. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you know. Niggas have been like, yo, bro, I got my six-figure
You know what I'm
job.
saying?
Appreciate you, bro.
They'll be like, appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you. Safe, man.
Oh, yo. That is too funny. That's too funny. Bro, quick question.
I know what you're gonna say. I think, go on.
When you catch an Uber, and I want you guys to let me know in the comments too, because I was arguing with one of my cousins about this. When you catch an Uber or a cab or a taxi, do you sit in the front or the back if it's just you?
Always in the back.
Always.
If you're alone catching an Uber, always in the back.
There's some psychopaths that are about to comment right now that they sit in the front of an Uber on my mum's life.
That's so uncomfortable.
That's so fucking weird.
The
Isn't it?
Uber driver must be scared.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, bro.
Like,
what?
I'd be terrified. Let's go with orange.
Imagine sitting in the front, not even saying that anymore.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro, just sat there quiet.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you even say? Bro, people really do that.
That's insane.
This is why you need to begin to time travel and enter your desired reality now. The only way to materialize your desired reality now is to enter it now. I repeat, you can only go where you are, and that's a bar, write that down. What you deem to be your destination, so the state that you believe that you're going to be in, with the beliefs and the emotions and the way that you think, all of the 7 keys that we normally deem after we've experienced the reality is what we need to be in now in order to experience that reality. Your destination is your starting location. You can only ever be where you are. So now, when we're talking about what I call the multi-dimensional sequence of the materialization of reality and why it works with time traveling, you have to understand what we call reality is the end product. Reality is an effect. Hence why in the Hermetic tradition, they'll tell you that cause and effect, mental plane, physical plane, reality, the world, the reality you live in is an effect. The reality that you live in on a physical level is the product of the action that you take. Even though action is nothing more than a facilitator and a midwife of energy of your frequency into materialization of reality and not actually what creates. Don't associate creation with doing, because when you lock your creation into doing, you lock yourself into limitation. Because even when we're talking about action, action is associated with an effect, and that's like trying to change an effect by changing an effect, which is why no matter how hard you work, if you keep the same state of consciousness, it doesn't matter. If you're in the consciousness of being unfit and you attempt to take action of being fit, it's not going to work, and I'll explain why. The action that we take on a daily basis is based upon what I call our mental nudges. We're all kind of nudged to do something, reach out to this person, talk to this person, go for a walk today. In fact, when you're driving home, take a left today instead of a right. Speed up, do this. We're mentally nudged to do stuff. Our mental nudges is built upon our intuition. Intuition is comprised of two words: inner tuition, inner teaching, inner guidance. Intuition, inner teaching, inner guidance, that comes from the God within. Now, that your intuition is dependent upon your frequency. Think about your intuition like a download, but the source that you're downloading from is your frequency, which is nothing more than a reality. And here's a bar about intuition that I need you to write down. Intuition isn't something that's guiding you to where you want to go. Intuition is the version of you that's already there, remembering what it is that you done to get there. And that's a bar, write that down. And to say that again in more clarity, when we talk about intuition, and let's say you're calibrated to the frequency of your desired reality, your intuition, your inner teaching or inner guidance is transcendent of time. So it's already experienced the reality that you want, which means you have already experienced the reality you want, hence why you can feel it within. And because you've already experienced it before, you're now remembering how you got there. Instead of thinking you're being given the instruction manual on how to get there, you're actually doing nothing more than remembering how you got there already, just beyond this plane of existence. So when we're talking about time traveling, and this is the mistake that a lot of people make, we'll do black and red. So with red, we'll do third dimensional realm time, third dimensional realm thinking. So third thinking, we can just call it third thinking for simplicity's sake. Whenever you do third thinking of I will, I'm going to, your intuition, which bear in mind, anytime you do third thinking, you are saying not. Anytime you do third dimensional realm thinking, one day soon, eventually, one day I will, all of that line of thinking, that is not. Because remember, if you aren't already it, you can only have what you already have. And if you don't have it right now, then you have the opposite state of consciousness. So let's say not. That means your intuition, so what you're guided to go towards within, will be in a reality of not what you want. So once again, let's say you want to reach a certain point in your business. Let's say you want to reach a point where you are doing 100k a month. Let's say you want to do 100k a month and you're thinking, I will make 100k a month, I'm going to. What you're saying is, I'm not making 100k per month. And if you can only have what you already have, then you're in the frequency of not, which means your intuition will guide you to not making 100k a month, which means the mental nudges that you get within will guide you to not making 100k a month. The action that you take in your business will lead you to not making 100k a month, which will lead you to a reality of not making 100k per month. Extrapolate this to any example you want. Let's say you want to be in a healthy relationship and you think, I will get into a healthy relationship soon. I'm going to get into a healthy relationship soon. Soon I'll get into a healthy relationship. You're currently saying, I'm not in a healthy relationship, which means your intuition is naturally going to guide you to be taking and to be thinking in accordance to not being in a healthy relationship, which will then lead to mental nudges of not being in a healthy relationship. Hence why a lot of you people that want to be in healthy relationships, whenever a good individual comes by, it just doesn't bang, does it? It's like, something's missing here. Oh, it's boring. This isn't what it's supposed to be. And what a lot of you don't realize is that your frequency is actually calibrated to toxicity. And because even though you're third dimensionally around thinking of, I'm going to, and you have the intentions to do so, unfortunately, your mental nudges guide you to not being in a healthy relationship, which leads you to doing action where you're just ignoring that nigga, you're just treating them bad now, or you're just mistreating that girl, or not talking to her right, or your physical action just seems like it's in contradiction to what it is that you want, and then you're not in a healthy relation. Let's extrapolate this to a career promotion. Let's say you think to yourself, oh, I will get that career promotion, I'm going to, I know I'm going to get it, going to. Once again, in third dimensional realm thinking, that means your frequency is calibrated to, I'm not going to get that career promotion, which means that you're then internally guided to begin just doing shit that just doesn't seem to lead to the materialization of it. Your mental nudges are guiding you to not be able to get that career or that career promotion. Your action then, it just doesn't work to get that career promotion, and then you end up in a reality where not, without understanding the multi-dimensional sequence events of the materialization of your desired reality, because you're still trapped within third dimensional realm thinking. As opposed to what I call transcendent thinking.
How do I do that, Nero?
Relax, AJ. Zip up your pants.
Am I gonna get some, Nero?
Yes, you are. So, check this. So, when we're talking about intuition, remember intuition, inner teaching, inner guidance, mental nudges. Forgive my handwriting at this point. I'm writing like a doctor. Action. No disrespect to any of the doctors. When we talk about transcendent thinking, that is thinking that is in alignment with I am. So it has to be lines of thinking that suggest that you are already where you want to be. So instead of thinking, I want to make 100k a month, you need to begin to think thoughts that resonate, reflect, and imply that you are already making 100k a month. Making 100k a month is easy. I know I'll be making 100k a month. I didn't think I'd get here this quick. Making 100k a month is this, is that. That thinking has to be transcendent of time. Healthy relationship, even if you may not be in a healthy relationship right now, or you may not be in a relationship at all, your line of thinking has to be reflective of, I'm so grateful to be in a healthy relationship. I'm so glad to be with somebody that appreciates and values me. I'm so glad to have somebody that can take care of me. I'm so glad to have this. When you want that career promotion, your line of thinking has to be, I knew I was going to get that job. I can't, of course they were going to give me that promotion. That promotion was already mine. Like, I had it before. I had that line of thinking that's transcendent of time, because remember, time is cyclical. It's all happening at once. And if it's all happening at once, why can't you just take from it? And that's a bar of that down. But when you see time as linear, you think you have to wait to get to a certain point in order to get it, without realizing that the longer you wait, the more you make the universe wait. And that's a bar, write that down. In fact, let me re-say that. The longer that you wait, the more the universe makes you wait, because you're making yourself wait. Because universe. You are a reflection of the universe on a microcosmic level, and it is you on a macrocosmic level. So your line of thinking has to already be resonant, implying and reflective that you are already there. Because go back to my client that I was talking to about scoring before he steps on the pitch. I said to him, when you step on the pitch and you got those lights on, you got those thousands of people in the stadium watching you, you already need to be in a state that you have already scored, because naturally his intuition is going to guide him to moving in a certain way that leads to him being in a position to score. The mental nudges that says to him, all right, cool, do this, or take a left here, or do this, or do that. The mental nudges that guide him gently are going to lead to the action of him taking it, and it's going to lead to the reality of him scoring. Extrapolate this to your desired reality. You already need to be it in order to remember how you got there on another plane of existence or another parallel universe, to be mentally nudged towards it, to taking the action to end there. That's what you need to do. This is real life time traveling.
You know what's crazy?
What's crazy?
I got a DM just now saying, gang, I've been trying to manifest for a month and nothing is changing. What's going on?
Perfect. And see, that's perfect time. See, that's divine timing.
For real.
Because see now, and more often than not, what people call divine timing is just nothing more than synchronistic materialization of your desired reality, which isn't really divine timing. It's just that when you send something to print on a computer, it just prints in reality. That's it. But I'll explain, because funnily enough, the next part of that actual DM or question explains that. Did that nigga DM you and say that?
Yeah.
Stop DMing AJ. Stop.
I thought it was random. I was like,
he's not my personal assistant. He's got his own, stop DMing him.
It's only because we're making this video right now, and I was like, bro, that's like perfect
Bro,
time.
you need to start airing the man that DM you asking me questions.
I do. Already do.
Only DM AJ if you want him to blow up your YouTube. If you want AJ to blow you up.
I knew you'd do some messed up. Sneaky ass.
I know there's some niggas that are like, why are you taking so long to wipe your board? Relax, bro. You'll get some. Relax. This information ain't going nowhere. It's alright. I know you're eager, but it's alright. Be calm, because even if you think about the state of consciousness of an individual that is rushing, you're rushing because you're indicating you're not where you want to be. And if you can only be where you already are, you rushing is actually an indication that you aren't where you are, and you can only have what you already have. And if you're not already there, then you can't be there. So stop rushing. Just relax. Just relax.
I think about them guys with YouTube Premium, and they're listening without actually looking at the video, and they just hear silence. They're like, oh, it's done.
Well, when I'm wiping the board.
Yeah.
You wish. Blue and blue's nice. Blue and blue.
One, please.
Blue's nice.
The light one might be a bit.
I know you like orange. So.
Orange is the new black. And I love black.
I thought gingers were the new black.
Oh, let's not go there.
You know, I was in the gym the other day. I've been seeing this. Obviously when I go to the gym, I know everybody because you just see people. Cool. I've seen this guy for months. He's never said anything to me. Never said anything to me. The other day I walk into the gym. He's walking out. He's like, "You good, brother?" I was like, "This has gone too far. This has gone too far. This has gone too far." So, to the point of that question, once you begin to embody the 7 keys as I just described, then you enter the frequency of your desired reality in the way that I just told you, then naturally the true definition of manifestation is going to begin to unfold. And this is my definition of manifesting that I teach to all my clients, professional footballers, professional athletes, NFL players, NFL player, Hollywood actors, 7-8 figure entrepreneurs, even 6-figure entrepreneurs. This is the definition that I teach all of them. And once you actually begin to let this definition marinate in your head, it's going to take out a lot of the questions that you keep asking yourself. So to that individual, read that comment again, or that DM to me again, sorry.
Gang, I've been trying to manifest.
Gang is crazy.
Crazy, innit?
Crazy.
I've been trying to manifest for a month and nothing is changing. What's
Perfect.
going on?
Perfect. Cool. Always come back to this definition. Manifestation is internally shifting to a degree to which you are no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change. AJ, please read that DM for me one last time, sorry.
Gang, I've been trying to manifest.
That gang just hits me every time.
The first word he used. I've been trying to manifest for a month and nothing is changing. What is going on?
Cool. And nothing is changing.
Yep.
That shows to me that there's an emotional dependency on seeing reality change. And if you have an emotional dependency on seeing reality change, then you haven't been manifesting. And in fact, you say that you're trying to manifest. How the fuck can you try? You're either doing it or you're not. So if you're emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change because you're saying you've been trying but nothing's changing, that shows emotional dependence upon reality. And anytime that you're exerting a degree of emotional dependence on reality, that means you're lacking emotion internally. And that's a bar, write that down. If you find yourself caught up in things not changing, or you're waiting to see things change, or you're being frantic about things not changing, then you have to begin to understand that you're lacking the emotion internally. And what do I mean by that? You have to understand that your frequency, the desired reality that you seek to materialize, you have to begin to, and you know what? Without even buying the book, I'll give you the technique that I give to my clients, as I've given it before in a multitude of videos, but it's nice that I can write it down now. And it's nice to have it written down so I can just tell people. So, here, the technique goes as follows. Clearly define the circumstance, event, or reality that you desire. There must be no confusion about what you want to manifest. Sit down or lay down until you reach a deep state of relaxation and stillness. That's due to the fact that your brainwaves will be calibrated to theta and alpha, which is synonymous with the gate of your subconscious mind opening. Whether this takes 5, 10, 20, or even 40 minutes, it doesn't matter. Being relaxed is mandatory. Imagine a scene that includes somebody who cares for you, a friend, partner, or family member who recognizes your desire by commenting on it in a natural and a way that's personal to them. Include physical touch in the scene, a high five, a fist bump, or a hug, or anything that feels natural and intimate. Keep the scene short, focusing only on the comment of them noticing your desired reality manifesting, and replay it again and again until it becomes a loop. If imagined vividly, you'll naturally begin to feel emotions you'd experience upon being in that desired reality. Feel them deeply. There is no set time for this practice. The moment you begin to feel strain, effort, or fatigue, stop immediately. I literally just told you how to create emotion internally. And the more that you have that emotion of your desired reality internally, you'll then become independent to seeing reality change, which will then allow for reality to collapse and things to begin to unfold in the way that you want.
The UK is getting hot. That means recording these videos over the next couple of weeks. You're gonna see you sweating.
Serious. Guys, once again, you have to stop messaging AJ. More than likely, you message me and I haven't replied. It's just because I really just don't reply. That's just, it is what it is. I get like 50 DMs a day of people asking me questions like I'm a genie when I've already spoke about this stuff in videos. So I don't really respond to DMs, like I really don't. You can comment. You have more chances of me replying to you here than on my Instagram.
Real.
Cool. Now, there will be something. There may not be divine timing, but there will be divine unfolding. Once you begin to embody the frequency of your desired reality, frequency is nothing more than immaterialized reality. Reality is nothing more than materialized frequency. The world that you live in is frozen imagination. Once your imagination, your consciousness, your self-concept becomes consumed by the idea that you are already where you want to be, then naturally that is going to unfold in a way that you do not know. Now, I need you to understand something. And people always ask me, Nero, I need to manifest this by this date and this by this date. There is no fucking dates, because even you saying I need to do this by this date is still showing that you're adhering to the linear concept of time. Be it now, time travel there now and stay there. You need to embody the frequency of what it is that you want until you have no concept of future. And that's a bar. Write that down. Please rewind what I just said. And even on the concept of divine unfolding, the way that your desired reality is going to materialize, you don't know how that's going to happen because your mind is finite. You don't know how that client's going to come. You don't know how you're going to get that job. You don't know how you're going to meet that person. You don't know how this and this and this and that's going to happen. But that's not for you to know, because your mind is finite, which means your mind is limited. I know I just did this. I'm going to get some Illuminati allegations soon. But you don't know how your desired reality is going to materialize. And because your mind is finite, that means it's limited. So you trying to conceptualize the way that it can materialize is you limiting the ways that it could materialize. And that's a bar. Write that down. It's not about how it's going to unfold, because if you ask yourself how or when, then that's indication that you're not there already within. And that's a bar. Write that down again. I just went back to back. Once again, the way that it's going to unfold is going to be in a way that you couldn't have probably conceptualized, and that's good. You don't know how it can materialize, so don't decide how it has to materialize. Just go to the end of what it is that you want and don't put anything in the middle. For example, you know, how many times have people here say that they've manifested a car? One woman said she was gifted a car. More often than not, people think, I need money to get that car. No, go to the end of whatever it is that you want, because you don't know what's going to happen in between, and that's not for you to know. Let the unfoldment of your desired reality be defined and not confined.
Amen, brother. Preach.
Shut up.
Climbing up the Lord's ladder.
We still speed running sounds like they don't matter.
Just stay you, I just stay you. We me very so all of my ladies, when I get the strength to lead you, and I'm weak 'cause I believe you. I may not hang, baby.
Mini star of enjoyment. Intercontinental. Monumental. You go live forever.